Good afternoon, folks. This is vk3sl. Welcome to the afternoon session. Picking up a few pieces this afternoon. We've had some ill effects from the big storm today, so trying to make sense of things. And yes, a lot of water ingress in the transmitter hall and in the booths.
Oh, no.
Hello, Frank. Hi. Yes.
Steve, how are you?
Well, a bit sort of overwhelmed, to be honest.
Inundated.
Yes, unfortunately.
What's the damage?
Well, at the moment, I'm just not sure. There's a lot of water in the garage, gone through all the components on the shelf.
Oh, no.
So that's a hassle. And it seems, I think it's got into the BC 348. And I don't know if I'll be able to come up tomorrow. I'll just have to check the damage thoroughly. But
Sure.
It's all around the transmitters. It hasn't affected the transmitter I'm using for these missions, so it seems. So it appears to be holding up. It's unfortunately water's got into the booth. And I came in about 10 minutes ago. I got home late today. And came in and there's water all over one of the turntables, splashed everywhere. So, yes,
terrible.
it's not good. So I'm not sure exactly what's going on. And there's a bulge in the ceiling, which is rather ominous. So there could be a veritable swimming pool above me inside the ceiling cavity.
Sounds like it's been probably cancelled tonight. Eh?
Well, look, I'll just keep an eye on. It's holding up, and look, it's not overwhelming, but it's there, and I just got to keep an eye on it. At least it's burst to the point where it's released some water, and I think that's probably the best thing, because if it's contained and doesn't release, you do get the effect of
totally penetrate.
Well, that's right. It sort of fills the void and then releases at a very in a very
slow rate.
Well, it can be catastrophic.
Oh yeah, just start corroding things.
Yeah, so
sorting out electrical.
Well, that's my main concern. So I probably won't use the turntables for a bit until I've just worked out exactly where it's coming from, where it's going, and it could be migrating through other things. That's the problem with water ingress, is that it can happen in untoward ways and find its way to the weakest spot. And
indeed.
Yeah, so there we go. That's the damage. Wasn't that a fantastic recording with Edwin Fisher? And that was with the Philharmonia Orchestra in 1954. I'm such a great admirer of Edwin Fisher's playing. I think he's a marvellous pianist.
Yes.
And I'd like to feature him a bit because there's been a number of recordings come up online in the last week of Edwin Fisher and recordings made in the 40s and 50s, including some examples from the Well-Tempered Clavier and, interestingly, a Haydn concerto for piano. So it's something I'd like to indulge with. If you're around tonight there, Frank, maybe we could have a listen to these.
I'll be there, Steve, if required.
Yeah, look, I'm pretty sure things will be okay. This is we got to this point, so I'm hopeful that nothing further will happen. Hopefully not.
I know.
So yeah, we'll be on the front foot here, and we'll see what happens. But yes, if we could feature Edwin Fisher. The other thing is that I've been walking to work this week, and this is a new venture. Kate's riding to work, and I'm walking to work.
Yes.
And it takes me 35 minutes to get there. And it's been a really positive development in terms of my own sort of fitness and mental health and all those sort of things.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and
walking is such a release, isn't it?
It is. It's really good. And we've got this wonderful reserve, and I don't know why I haven't done it earlier, but it has been quite an exercise and I think a very positive one. But I've been listening to a lot, and with the headphones, Bluetooth headphones.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, so I've been listening to lots and lots of music, and I heard a fabulous documentary, a BBC documentary on swing. And,
really?
Yeah, and it's got a great segment on both Glenn Miller and on Billie Holiday. Now, I was thinking tonight it would be interesting to perhaps feature just a segment of that doco on Billie Holiday, yeah.
Oh, yes.
And they interview Artie Shaw. It was made in the 80s or 90s, I think. And so people like Artie Shaw was still around. And so he's got a bit to say, and it's most interesting, and I thought that might be a good point of departure for a few of her recordings, especially her early stuff. Yeah.
Matter of fact, we had U3A today. We have once a month we bring our own.
Yes.
And I happened to bring an early Billie Holiday.
Oh wow! Fabulous.
With all of the early Teddy Wilson and
marvelous,
and Lester Young and all.
Yeah,
those
that's
people.
right. Yes, they're this wondrous recordings.
Oh, they are. And the other one I brought was actually it was an early Duke Ellington.
Oh, okay. One of the Cotton Club era
No,
recordings.
later than that.
Yes.
Early 30s.
Yes.
With Bubba Miley and
wow, fabulous.
people like that, and the lovely trombone, but I can't remember his name.
Joe Nanton.
That's the one.
Tricky
that's the one.
Joe. Yeah.
And it was just so good to hear them again.
Oh, marvellous. Or look, maybe you could tell me the names of the tracks if tonight, and then we'll put them into the program.
Yes, I could do that.
And that'd be great. And so that's our tonight's program organised now. We'll have a Billie Holiday session and
a bit of a Duke.
Yeah, a bit of Duke, and then
Funny,
some Edwin Fisher.
The record has on the label. The composer of all of them, is a fellow called Edward Kennedy.
I wonder who that might be. That's the real name of Mr. D.
Indeed.
Yeah, fabulous. Edward Kennedy Ellington, I think.
That's the one. That's they left off the Ellington on the label.
Yeah, interesting, isn't it?
Yes,
yeah.
It is.
Well, that's great. Now, he also worked with Billy Strayhorn, didn't he, a lot?
Oh, very, very closely.
Yes, indeed. Oh, wow. Oh, that'd be great. Look forward to it very much. We'll indulge this evening. So there we go, folks. You've had a teaser for tonight's program at 11:30. All being well, if we're not on, it's to do with other issues. But I'm being positive. I'm being on the front foot, and the fact that I've got this far is probably a good sign.
Yes.
So we'll just hopefully that will all work out. Can you
provide any sort of heating or fan to help?
I'm going to have to investigate that. I'm going to have to remove a lot of gear out of the garage. Everything's very tightly packed.
Yeah, I know.
And unfortunately, it's got through all the components. Now, that is a real hassle. So I'll have to just tomorrow or sometime soon, just before things become destroyed.
Yeah, I know.
Try and just bring everything out. It's a lot of water's gone in, unfortunately, into the garage, into the booth. It's not quite so. There's water in here, but it's not to the same magnitude.
Okay.
So, look, there was such a heavy rain event. I mean, I work quite close to home, and I couldn't believe how heavy it was at work, and roofs were leaking everywhere. And so it's just the way of things. There was a particularly intense burst.
Caught the brunt of it, obviously.
Yeah, seemed to.
Yeah, we got heavy-ish, but, not as heavy as you got.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Anyhow, so we'll just have to stand by on that one. Now, the other exciting thing is that there's been Mr. Prozoot has been at it again and put up some remarkable recordings of Ted Weems' orchestra.
Oh, lovely!
And they're such a feel-good band.
They are a terrific band.
They are. They just everything they did just feels right. It's just they're the best sort of. I think they're the band in the Depression which lifted the spirits more than anybody else. And I think a lot of it's to do with Parker Gibbs, vocalist. He's just got this sort of positive vibe to his voice. He's not a great singer or anything, but he just, I don't know, there's something sort of slightly comical and elevating about this.
It's comical, but not laughing in a satirical way.
Exactly. No, that's it. So just there's something effervescent, I think, about them.
That's a good word.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I heard they used to play a song called Heartache.
Oh, look, I've got that one on the list. We'll come to that because I think
I love that. I've loved that ever since I had a 78 of it when I got my wind-up gramophone.
Oh my goodness! So that would have been the rumba version of Heartache.
Yes, it was.
Yes, it came out in 1938.
That's the one.
Yeah, that was his last big hit. In fact, I had an hour off today where I should have been doing other things, but I sat down and listened to most of these Prozoots, and I also found because he discovered Perry Como apparently.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he put Perry Como on the map, and I think
Perry
Como started his career touring with Ted Weems in the 40s.
Oh, wow.
Or late 30s.
Yeah.
And Perry Como, once he became famous, dedicated one of his TV shows to bringing the original band together.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And it's so good. They're all sort of much older people in the 60s, and they would have been in their 60s or 70s or late 60s, but they all look 10 years older because they all smoked so heavily. And poor old Ted Weems only lasted a year after that because he died of emphysema, as most of them did. So I mean, it was very rare for these heavy smoking fraternity to, but particularly back then with unfiltered cigarettes and things, they would. They just really didn't last beyond their mid-60s.
No. And they didn't have such good treatment for lung cancer.
Well, that's right, exactly. That's another part of the story too. Yeah. So anyhow, that they were brought together, and it's a great comedy thing. I'll refer it to people to look at or to discover online, and I can send you a link there, Frank. I was going to play that, but it's more because it's very sort of cabaret style. It's probably not so suited to the air, and there's a lot of incidental stuff. But he introduces all of the original members of the band.
Oh, I'd love to hear that.
Yeah, the upfront members like Red Engel gets a Guernsey.
Oh, yeah.
Joe Washburn or Country Washburn, the bass player, who's very prominent on these 20s discs, he gets a Guernsey. Parker Gibbs is still around, and
great.
He does a couple of vocals, so it's lovely to sort of discover that too. But look, let's cut back to the original band in the early. This one's from 1933.
Just before we do, I just need to say this is VK3JR, working VK3SL on the test transmission, 2 metres to 160 metres. Indeed,
and for those listening online, we also have an online service. I think it's up and running, and we have a streaming service on YouTube and also transmitting on 1865 kilohertz and on 438.735.
And we say good evening to the listener. And if this is ever reproduced at another time, at another place, we say good evening or daytime, good morning, or whatever it is to you.
Indeed, that's right. We are on the log. So, yes. All right. Well, let's continue with a track called When the Morning Rolls Around. We're listening to the music of Ted Weems and the band.
Flowers on the ground again. Hooray, new day when the morning rolls around. When the sun comes up at dawn again, all my troubles will be gone again. I'll be happy when the morning rolls around. Blues are gone, I'm coming off that shelf. From now on, I'm gonna be myself. When the morning rolls around again, then my happiness is found again. Hooray, new day when the morning rolls around.
The upbeat sounds of Ted Weems and the band from 1933. What a sound. What a
Feel-good
vibe.
music.
It really is feel-good music in every way. It's just upbeat, it's positive, it's on the front foot, excellent musicianship, and it has to be heard. I'm so thrilled because there's a whole swag of recordings. That one is recorded in 1933 and using the experimental hi-fi process.
Sounded good, didn't it?
Isn't it a good sound?
Plenty of room ambience.
Yes, room ambience, and it's even got tings, and you can hear the brushes on the drums, and it's even it got spatial sort of dimension to it. Oh, wow, it's fantastic. And Mr. Prozud has put up some incredible rarities, including an instrumental version of that same song with slightly different arrangement.
Oh, good.
So let's continue. Let's hear it again, but in a slightly different guise.
Excellent.
Yeah, we have take 2 of Summer Comes Around Again. So, there we have the music of Ted Weems, and I'm sort of assessing things as we go here, checking out the situation. I just found my ball and biscuit microphone's full of water.
Oh, no!
I don't know how to dry out a mic. I might just have to put it in a aerated space, and I dare not fiddle with it too much.
You couldn't put much suction on it, could you?
Certainly can't. I might just have to try and position it so.
Shake it a little, perhaps.
Yes, shake it a bit, see if it drains, and
hold it up with the holes going downward.
Yes, I think so. Try and do that. Oh, what a pity.
Oh, such a shame.
It is a pity, because that's the old ABC mic.
I know.
Never the mind.
So official.
So, yes, definitely. It is official. There's some great records here. There's so many, and they're all good. There's even got this. One of my favourite Ted Williams tracks is Egyptian Ella.
Oh, we love that.
Oh, and this is the version of it. It's just got full of, I don't know, there's something sort of slightly ironic and, I don't know, beguiling about this performance. It's a slightly boxy acoustic on this, but it's very listenable. And so we'll go back to 1930, I think this was recorded, and we'll hear the best version, I think, of Egyptian Ella.
Ella was a dancing gal who started getting fat. Well, every day brought 2 more pounds to Ella. Until one day she found she'd lost her job because of that. And then to make it worse, she lost her fella. So she took a trip to Egypt to forget. But she made such a hit that she's there yet. Well, if you hear of a gal who can shake and quake till it makes you think of a nervous snake, they're speaking of Egyptian Ella. Why, she weighs 220, but they don't care. They like 'em plenty that way out there. She has the love of every fella. Well, she does a dance with certain parts by the River Nile that make all the boys take their old sweethearts and throw them to the crocodiles. And every sheik in the audience jumps up and offers her love intense. Oh, how they love Egyptian Ella. She plainly states that she doesn't care a fig about dates, so they can't make Egyptian Ella. Well, she tried to kidnap her once, I'm told, but she shook so much that he lost his hold. Oh, he couldn't take Egyptian Ella. So the Pasha wrote her a royal note with his royal fist that said because of the dance she does, she's on his royal waiting list. And that's how fame of a different sort has come at last from an indoor sport to our own Egyptian Ella.
the gong at the end. Whoa! We'll just give that a bit of a fade-o-matic there. And yes, Egyptianella with Ted Weems and the band. And it's got some great lyrics. Was that one of Fame of a Different Sort? It comes at last from an indoor sport.
Yes,
I wonder what he's singing about.
I'd actually missed that verse on other playings.
Well, it's often not sung, that extra verse. He sung it so nonchalantly as the one of it.
Passed it off beautifully.
It certainly did. It's a great arrangement. So yeah, that's a thrill. So we've got timestamps on all this, so I can pick a couple more. Is that okay? If we can have a listen, we'll listen to a few more Ted Weems records. This is sort of bolstering my mood a little bit, I think. And there's a version here called Panhandle Pete. Now this is a take on Piccolo Pete. Piccolo Pete was their big hit. They sold lots of records of Piccolo Pete and Man from the South on the other side. That record was well circulated. And they did an update called Panhandle Pete. So
Right.
I reckon we can find it here. I did hear it this morning on my way to work. I listened to it. I thought, oh, yes. It sort of picks up on, you'll hear it's got lots of Piccolo Pete-ness about it.
Yeah, I remember Piccolo Pete.
Yeah, so it's got that Piccolo Pete vibe. But, yeah, they're obviously cashing in. Piccolo Pete 2, I think this is. So it's called Panhandle Pete, the music of Ted Weems.
You all heard Pete go tweet, tweet, tweet on his piccolo? No? Well, that was long ago when he was in the dough and Petey won his fame. A depression got him, his stock hit bottom, but he's smiling just the same. Poor Pete, sold his piccolo and changed his name. Here comes old Panhandle Pete, hustling down the street. In again, out again, out again, in again, Panhandle Pete. He rides the rail, been in the best of jails. In again, out again, out again, in again, Panhandle Pete. Just a happy old hobo, having a heck of a time. Always singing this solo. Hey, mister, can you spare a dime? He's living free, laughing at you and me. In again, out again, in again, Panhandle Pete. Hallelujah, I'm a bomb. Hallelujah, bomb again. Hallelujah, give us a hand now to revive us again. Just a happy old hobo, having a heck of a time. Always singing this solo. Hey, mister, can you spare a dime?
There we go, Panhandle Pete there with Ted Weems and the band. Parker Gibbs was the vocalist on that record.
Yeah, it's excellent.
Isn't it brilliant? It's just sort of positive, upbeat music, and you can, well, they refer to the Depression in that song.
They do, directly.
They did.
You don't very often hear that.
You don't. And we even got a little bit of Hallelujah, I'm a Bum in that song.
Yeah, the old Depression song.
Yeah, that's it. So, yeah, you got an earring there. There's some terrific upbeat playing on this. Some of them are just, some of these records are just so well done.
Beautifully together, aren't they?
They are. They're a very tight ensemble, excellent musicians, and everything they did was of high energy and also excellent musicianship. So we'll hear another one. I think we'll hear one or two more. I think it would be nice to check in on good old Ted Weems. Now, looking for this. I'm looking along the list here, and the one is Look Who's Here. This is a great track. Listen to the ensemble playing, folks. It is just amazing.
Who's here? What a sight to gaze upon and put your praise upon. Oh, look who's here. My, my. Oh, look who's here. Looking cute and clever. Well, I swear I never will. You look who's here. My, my. What a beautiful smile. What a classical pose. What a wonderful style. What a wonderful these and a wonderful those. Oh, look who's here. She's an inspiration for a big ovation. It's the time to cheer. Look who's here.
Ted Weems and the band there, and look who's here. Some excellent ensemble playing.
Brilliant, wasn't it?
Yeah, they're just really on fire. And I don't know who the soloists are. Yeah, sorry?
Noticing the extended treble on the Tings.
Okay.
It was really, it's very clean, isn't it?
Yeah, they're really clean records. Yeah, very well recorded. Yeah, astonishing really what they could do back then. These most of these are recorded in that early 30s period using, I think they're the 24,000 series on Victor, recorded in New York using an experimental studio, and we really only get the full experience in recent times. So it just sounds amazing on the big speaks too.
I can imagine.
Yeah, so refer it to people. Just look up Prozoot's latest, and they're all there. It's about an hour of them, and they're sort of in pseudo hi-fi. I think they've actually got info up to about 14K, and
I wouldn't be. I was noticing. I mean, I'm only listening up to about 8, I think.
Yeah, sure.
But they're just usually I get clippy on the top.
Yes, that's right. Now, the rain has started in earnest, and I'm going to just do a couple of checks. Now, what I will do is just play a couple in a row because I need to be on the front foot here.
You do.
I've got to work out what's actually going on and where it's coming in, and perhaps get some towels or something just to deal with it if it keeps coming in. We've got another heavy shower upon us.
All right. This will give you a chance at least to see where ingress points are.
Yes, exactly. So I'm going to just take 5. I'll play another track here. This one's another amazing track called Hats Off. Here Comes a Lady.
Righto.
And we'll play a couple, and we may get round to when the morning comes around again. But we'll just play 2 or 3 in a row, and then we'll be back very soon. So vk3sl
and vk3jr.
Listening to the music of Ted Weems and his orchestra from the early 1930s.
comes a lady. Atcha and Haiti, Haiti, she's like sugar, so refined, that sweet and lovely kind. Hats off and get respectful. Lay off, don't waste a checkful. She won't go out all alone, don't dial her telephone. The way she drinks her debitass, there's $1 million worth of glass. Anytime you see her pass, none of your wisecracks, neighbor. Hats off, here comes a lady. Hats off, I don't mean maybe. How do I know that she's a lady? Wasn't I with her last night?
Here they come, dressed in brown and blue and jade. Little boys and girls showing off their curls at the baby parade. Little eyes, looking wise, realize the hit they've made when they get a hand at the judges stand at the baby parade. Though it's hard to choose who will win or lose as the kiddies pass in line, standing in the crowd, every dad so proud says the winner should be mine. There they go, what a noble part they play. Then away they trip to a pillow slip from the baby parade.
Rich kids, poor kids, my kids, your kids, everybody's kid is there. Blackheads, blonde heads, even redheads, and a lot with curly hair. Nice kids, mean kids, fat kids, lean kids, every kid a different size. Shy kids, cry kids, rock-a-bye kids, everyone deserves a prize.
around again. There'll be flowers on the ground again. Hooray, new day when the morning rolls around. When the sun comes up at dawn again, all my troubles will be gone again. I'll be happy when the morning rolls around. Blues are gone, I'm coming off that shelf. From now on, I'm gonna be myself. When the morning rolls around again, then my happiness is found again. Hooray, new day when the morning rolls around.
Okay, listeners, I'll save you from a fourth version of that song. We've been listening to that over and over again. I will have to keep attending to the situation. It's not good. So there's been quite a lot of ingress, particularly in the garage. Unfortunately, it's got through all the components, and it's just it's a big mess. So I'm just going to do a quick sort of tidy up just to deal with the worst of it so the water doesn't sort of penetrate anything else. And
you don't want to take your time tonight to be testing stuff instead of doing emissions?
Oh, no, look, I like to do emissions. It's a priority, really.
I mean, I'd love to have it, of course. I'm just thinking of the need of the moment, perhaps.
Well, look, I know what you're saying. I'm going to have to check things further. I've just emptied about 3 big drawers full of components, which are just filled up with water.
Yeah.
And it's all over the desk. I'll check it a bit further, and then I should be able to report on it in about. Look, I'll give it another 10 minutes, and then I'll know exactly where I stand. So
whatever you want to do.
Yeah, thank you, Frank. And I know listeners understand, but I'd rather be here behind the mic, to be honest. And
I'd rather have you behind the mic.
Yeah, and there's not a lot else I can really do beyond a certain point. But I just want to investigate this fully and see exactly where it's gone, and then I'll sort of have a better handle on it. But I'm still sort of finding out.
I guess one of the things you want to transport some of it to the dry.
Yeah, I know. I've emptied a couple of bags of things out in the outdoor toilet area, just sort of. But I just suddenly realised that the dog's going to be out there later, so
God.
You can't have the dog munching away at capacitors.
No, that's crunch.
Exactly. Anyhow, look, that's all right. We'll deal with this, and in the interim, we'll just hear a little bit more Ted Weems, some upbeat music from the early 1930s. Kerev Prozoot, who's just put this up last night. So back to Mr. Weems and co. Until soon.
My baby don't care for clothes. My baby just cares for me. My baby don't care for silks and laces. My baby don't care for high-toned places. My baby don't care for rings or other expensive things. She's sensible as can be. My baby don't care who knows it. My baby just cares for me.
but she turned out to be a girlfriend of a boyfriend of mine. I used to take her places, she loved to dance and dine, but she turned out to be a new friend of an old friend of mine. She taught me love was just a joke and what a broken heart meant. She even had me go and get a kitchenette apartment. She thrilled me with her glances, her kiss was just like wine, but she turned out to be a close friend of a Scots friend of mine.
Ella was a dancing gal who started getting fat. Well, every day brought 2 more pounds to Ella, until one day she found she'd lost her job because of that. And then to make it worse, she lost her fella. So she took a trip to Egypt to forget. But she made such a hit that she's there yet. Well, if you hear of a gal who can shake and quake till it makes you think of a nervous snake, they're speaking of Egyptian Ella. Why, she weighs 220, but they don't care. They like 'em plenty that way out there. She has the love of every fella. Well, she does a dance with certain parts by the River Nile that make all the boys take their old sweethearts and throw them to the crocodiles. And every sheik in the audience jumps up and offers her love intent. Oh, how they love Egyptian Ella. But she plainly states that she doesn't care a fig about dates, so they can't make Egyptian Ella. Well, a sheik tried to kidnap her once, I'm told, but she shook so much that he lost his hold. Oh, he couldn't take Egyptian Ella. So the Pasha wrote her a royal note with his royal fist that said because of the dance she does, she's on his royal waiting list. And that's how fame of a different sort has come at last from an indoor sport to our own Egyptian Ella. La da 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 dee da 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 da. La da dee da 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 dee da. Ba 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 ba.
After being out late, walking my baby back home. Arm in arm over meadow and farm, walking my baby back home. We go along harmonizing a song, or I'm reciting a poem. Owls go by and they give me the eye, walking my baby back home. We stop for a while, she gives me a smile, snuggles her head to my chest. We start into pet, and that's when I get her powder all over my vest. After I kinda straighten my tie, she has to borrow my comb. One kiss, then I continue again, walking my baby back home. something fascinating about a trumpet. Something about a saxophone that sure is grand. Gee, how I like to hear that old slide trombone. Stop, look and listen to my favorite band. And when they swing into the dancing rhythm, it's mighty hard to beat. It brings you just a little nearer heaven, goes to your dancing feet. Just linger on the notes of that old bass horn. There is the hottest clarinetist in the land. Gee, how that man can play a grand piano. Stop, look and listen to my favorite band.
Wait a minute, you fellas. You know we have to rehearse this band today, so get your horns and sound your A. Now better pay attention to what I do. Play back at me what I sing to you. Are you ready? Doodle-doodle-da-da-do. Oh, la-da-da-do. La-da-da-da-do. Da-wa. Wa-da-dee-dee-da-da-do. Diddle-da-do. Diddle-da-da-da-da-do. Well, that sounded pretty good to me, but let's try it now in a higher key.
When you were the blossom of Buttercup Lane, and I was your little boy blue. We roamed in the roses and danced in the rain, and I was so happy with you. Remember our first little lesson in love? I gave you a kiss for each star up above. When you were the blossom of Buttercup Lane, and I was your little boy blue.
Okay, folks, we've been listening to a selection of Ted Weems and the band and vk3sl Test Missions on 160. And hello there, Mr. Frank. How are you?
Hello, very well. How are you?
Oh, yes, we're sort of cleaning up actually because that heavy rain event, unfortunately.
Our backyard's a bit flooded.
Yeah, we've got water ingress everywhere here.
Oh, really? In the shack? Or?
Yeah, unfortunately. Ooh. Yeah, one of the old ball and biscuit microphones saturated. It dripped. There's a point where the water pooled in the ceiling cavity, and unfortunately, it sort of dripped all over the turntables and saturated the mic, and did far worse in the garage where the middle hall is. There's a big washout where all the components were in little boxes, little drawers. And,
heard of things being wet with reverb, but this is ridiculous.
Yes, yes.
G'day, Frank.
Hello, Frank.
How are you?
Yeah, very well.
To hear you back.
Yes, back, and it's been a interesting season.
Yeah, you've been out
I went up on a big, yes, and I went up there at one point in the mid-season, and then actually got COVID and had to come back and isolate for a little while.
Oh, hassles.
So, which is, because you can't really isolate in a lodge, so it was all a bit, tedious.
Oh, hassle.
And when you're feeling like that, just stuff and trying to avoid people, trying to sort of pack up and get out of there is like an exercise in itself.
I can appreciate that. Yeah. Oh, goodness me. Oh, well, and did you get a fair season in, though?
Yeah, I was about maybe 5.5, 6 weeks in total.
Okay.
Ski, so it's pretty good.
Sure.
It's less than I planned on, but but I did okay. So.
Well, it's sort of a bumper season in some respects, isn't it? Is that how it's seen in from?
Yeah, it was. The last day was Sunday, just gone.
Yeah.
And I skied the morning up until 12:30 when I sort of and I was skiing with a couple of instructors that I know who are very high level, and we were having a ball, and the conditions on the south-facing slopes were great. Still, the north side was gone because of all the sun and the rain.
That's right.
But south-facing was still in very good shape. And
terrific.
So I literally pulled the pin at 12:30, said, look, I've got to go, I've got to, pack down and get in the car and sort of head home. I didn't want to get home too late. So, because it makes it a very long day otherwise. And,
it does.
And so it was fabulous. It was a nice way to go out. It was a sunny day and nice snow. And
that's brilliant.
It was great.
Oh, good on you. I know it's your home away from home there, Frank, the ski fields in the winter season. And, it sounds like you're at least able to get some good conditions between, your unfortunate return. But anyhow, it sounds like it worked out for you on the whole. Yeah, I think I mentioned we're up at Wills for a bit, a couple of days.
Yep.
So we sort of could see falls on the horizon, or at least you can't see falls, but you can see Spion Cop and the Mount Nels and Mount Bogong. They're pretty prominent from there.
The high range to the north.
Yeah, you can.
Because the falls would be the other side of it from you, wouldn't it? Bit shielded.
Yes, that's right. Falls is sort of out of the picture. But Mount Wills was magnificent. It was a highlight when we did the Alpine Walk many years ago, and we thought we'd return there and see some snow.
How much snow was up there? I imagine
about a metre at least. Yeah, it was really. In fact, we didn't have snowshoes, so
hard going in places.
We had to walk up to the summit about 3 k's from the Tallangatta turnoff on the Omeo Highway, and the first K was fine. The second K was really getting heavy, and the third K, my God, it was like deep snow. You could walk about 5 steps, then rest, then 5 steps, and rest.
You really do need snowshoes for those conditions.
You do. I had my hiking boots on and over trousers and things, but we sort of walked in convoy so other people could walk in the holes.
Once you packed it down, then the people behind get the benefit.
They do.
The person at the front's doing all the hard work.
Yes, and guess who that was? And guess what? I'm walking to work now because I've notched my fitness up a little bit from doing all of that. But look, it was so beautiful up there. It was just magnificent, and we camped up the top and we stayed in the little tiny hut up there, and it was just brilliant. So I can vouch for the snowfields at this time. It's rare for them to be so much snow at this time, really, isn't it?
Occasionally you get it, but they've had, because it was only a fortnight from the end. They had we at Falls got about 40, 45 centimetres over 2 days, and so had a nice fresh track morning again of blue skies and cold, and that's pretty rare that late in the season.
Yeah,
it was pretty nice, and that that would have filled in a lot of other areas, and anywhere significantly higher, or I think perhaps a bit north got a little bit more too. So.
Yes, indeed. I noticed that the Kosciuszko range was on the south of where we were camped, and you could see just the profile right up to Mount Jagungal, and it was just this magnificent snow-capped horizon line. It was just amazing. it looked really beautiful because that was all the south side we were observing from that vantage point. So, it was really quite...
Yeah, because you're in between, aren't you?
Yeah, that's it.
Kosciuszko Range and then the Spion Cope on the Vic side, so you're sort of in between. Because there's not really much in between. It drops down to the Murray and then it rises up sharply.
It does. It's extraordinary, isn't it? Yeah, it drops right down to Penambra. When we did the walk, that was quite a difficult section because there's a lot of lowlands and it's quite claustrophobic walking through there. Just sort of lots of, I think it was about 10 days of sort of bush bashing through, lower altitudes without many vantage points, which is psychologically much harder to do. But when you got a view and a horizon line, it makes a big difference, I think. But yeah, it's an interesting country. But yeah, so I did spare you a thought while we were up there, and because I haven't been to the snow for years, so it was yeah. Do you find snowshoes sort of comfortable? Because we're thinking of getting some. Because I'm
still looking into what pair I'm going to get, because a lot of the time when I go out, I use backcountry skis.
Okay.
So I'm in a downhill ski boot, which has its own issues.
Yeah.
But the ski supports you quite well. Brother-in-law's got a set of snowshoes and the MSRs. I think you really have to look at the type that suit you and the kind of walking you do, because there are a couple of types and the amount of displacement, and there are even some I see that have this sort of articulated tailpiece.
Oh, yeah.
That can help in some conditions. It's probably worth going into one of those, outdoor specialist places and having a chat to them about the various types and also what they mean for attachment to the type of boots you need.
Yes.
And that
all those things are critical, aren't they? And some of them have little ridges.
Because I guess you want something that you can get in and out of pretty easily if you need to.
Yep.
But by the same token, when you're in them, you want them to stay on and not be fiddly or
that's right. You don't
loose,
want to be exactly.
They need to go on and stay on and work, because otherwise they'll just become frustrating.
Indeed, absolutely. Yeah, no, I can appreciate that. I mean, we sort of think we'd love to go to the snow more often, but we're probably too old to learn how to ski.
Rubbish.
You don't think so? Well, anyhow, it'd be nice to be able to ski. I did a little bit of cross country when I was young, but really, you reckon you can pick it up as a middle age?
Yeah, absolutely.
Fart?
You just go easy, just do lessons, take it easy. Just stick to just go a little slower.
Yeah.
And particularly too for you, the type of where you're interested going out. I'd be looking at a touring type ski.
Yes.
Binding setup, which. Yeah. If you've got the right setup, you can still ride that in the resort and play downhill if you want to.
Okay.
That's, my tourists can do that.
Okay. You've got me thinking now.
The gear's improved a lot because of modern materials.
Okay, sure.
A lot of the skis and boots have benefited from a bit of modern material science and oddly enough, from the cross-pollination of snowboards. Mm-hmm. As an example, the guys now, snowboarders, even go out touring.
Okay.
They have what are called split boards.
Right.
So they have a snowboard that rides, you ride it in the resort like a normal board.
Yes.
Except, let's say now we've gone out and we're away from all the lift system and we're doing a bit of touring, and you pull up, we've got to the bottom of an area we need to climb. They take them off. The bindings remove via a quick release system from the deck of the board.
Yep.
The board basically splits into two halves. Mm-hmm. The bindings remount longitudinally on each of the halves and go into freeheel mode, and you put climbing skins on the bottom of those, and they're like basically a fat asymmetric set of touring skis there.
Okay,
and
that sounds
they climb
intriguing.
up, and then the same thing, get to the top, reset, and ride it down like a snowboard and enjoy all the benefits that has in terms of dealing with deep powder and grungy stuff, and because they've got large surface areas.
Yes. I can appreciate that.
I'm just going to organise the evening meal.
Yeah. Well, okay, Frank. Well, look, thank you. Thanks for your hanging in there amidst all of that.
No, not at all.
Look, I think I've got a pretty handle on the situation. I think it's all contained, and I know what damage is done. It's not overwhelming. It's very inconvenient, but it's not going to drastically alter things. So I should be on tonight. As per usual. So just tune in, folks, and we'll have a listen to some Billie Holiday and Edwin Fisher, and maybe a bit of Duke and whatever. We'll enjoy that. So, but you're welcome to come back. I'll hang around for another 40 minutes or so. I've got ticket of leave from the fam for a little bit
sure.
longer.
I'll just see how we go. I think I'll probably get straight into eating when it arrives.
Look, I understand. No worries at all. Okay, well, thank you. And
Good to hear, Frank. And now I've already had. That's why I'm a bit later up, because I was cooking dinner and it's now just simmering. So
sure.
Okay.
Okay, well, no worries.
We're going Chinese tonight.
Ah, very good. Excellent.
I'm making bolognese.
Sounds very exotic.
Very good. I'll sign and talk soon.
Okay, no worries, Frank. Look forward to catching up. Yep.
Clear.
Yeah, cheers. We'll look forward very much to catching up later on.
vk3sl.
Yay. All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Okay, well, Mr. OP, it's great to have you back, and we'll have to find another program. You'll have to sort of assemble some more.
Now, which one was I working on? I finished, I'm pretty sure I've got all of the Jeff Beck together.
Oh, tremendous.
I did that a while ago,
Yes,
actually, and then,
yes.
got into ski season and
Okay.
aside. And so I think I've done I think Jeff Beck, I've just got to double check it. And again, its duration, it might be a little long, but we'll see.
That's all right. We could just break it into a couple of sessions, perhaps.
And then I think I'd also got a fair way through doing one on Mr. Vai.
Oh, most excellent. I'd like to. I was blown out of the water by that Steve Vai track where he was only playing with one hand.
Knapsack.
That was out of this world. I couldn't believe it.
And you got to have a look at his other one playing the three-necked guitar.
Okay.
Something attracted to with a Hydra, it's called.
Oh, really? Oh, you'll have to fill us in on that. I think that those sort of players just have to look at a guitar and it'll play for them. They just got such a transcendental technique that it just seems so totally effortless.
Yeah, he's quite unique in that.
Yeah.
It almost looks like he and the guitar become one.
Yeah.
A lot of his movement around the beast. He's very stylistically different to many others.
Right. Okay. Oh, wow. Oh, look forward to other programs. So yeah, we'll just put it all together and send me the list, and we can run with it. That'll be good. I think. Tomorrow, I was going to do a little Glenn Miller special tomorrow. I'm not around. I've got to play at a poetry gig on Sunday, and but the following weekend for sure.
Yeah, I should be able to find some time there again tomorrow. I'd like to have some things on.
Sure.
That's all.
Okay, we're looking ahead another week.
I've just got to revisit and check the list because it's been some time.
Well, look, see how you go, and it would be just brilliant. I'd look forward to it very much. I find these just so totally educational. It's sort of what I need is to inhabit a different space and defer to your expertise and your amazing knowledge. And it's always a wondrous thing. I mean, hearing this music. And the evolution of an artist through their output. I'm sure other people feel the same. It's really good.
Yeah, well, it's nice to because I'm enjoying listening to the 30s stuff and a lot of the artists that and I know of some of Glenn Miller and Billie Holiday and Duke Ellington, but when you start playing stuff and going through the history, I find that all intriguing too because they're artists I'm familiar with, but I don't know a lot about.
Sure. So, well, we all sort of
when you realise how much work they did and who they cross-pollinated with.
You sort of get a sense of what the antecedents were and how pop music sort of found its voice, and of course now the era of the recording, of course, as the arbiter here, the very fact that artists could really far and wide listen and gain inspiration from through recordings.
And I remember that was a big takeout from reading David Byrne's book, Why Music Works. When he talked about the change, because he very much sets the scene of music in its environment. From the prehistoric around the fire, banging sticks together or whatever it was.
Sure.
But it was very much designed and suited around because of the medium it was being played in or heard in, and as we evolved to concert halls changed, and then now this process of recording, and what you've plainly shown with some of the recordings, the early single mic where instruments were placed at various distances from the mic to generate a form of mix, and how that altered the way the musicians played to make it work for the medium.
Indeed, that's right. It's something sort of quite authentic about listening to a one mic recording. Just the very fact that in a venue, often traditionally it sort of was the way it presented from an audience standpoint.
Well, that's very much with orchestras, isn't it? The typical stereo cross pair is still the standard by which many orchestras are mic'd.
Yeah, that's it. And that sort of reflects our, spatial hearing thing, ability.
Binaural hearing.
Yeah, that's it. So it sort of emulates that to some degree. Yeah, but I've noticed that the Spicks and Specks series has been I think it's been going, hasn't it?
Yeah,
for a bit?
it's got a few eps to 2 more.
Yeah, I'll probably...
That's one I shot just literally before the ski season started.
Yeah, just before you went. You got that one in time. That was good.
Yeah, it was. The timing of that was brilliant. So.
Yeah, very good.
And have you been watching much?
I haven't watched any free-to-air at all.
It'd be worth doing because there's a couple of interesting little things.
No, look, it's one of the few shows that I really did enjoy, and I will probably watch it just on on catch up. And I'd like to see it very much. So that's on the agenda to catch up with Spicks and Specks.
Because one game change in this that they did, which was, we're all thinking, it's an interesting idea. It'll be interesting to see if it worked. And apparently it has worked, and the feedback's really great. They have in each episode now, they have a thing called the secret song. And through the entire episode, visual, audio, and prop type clues get dropped. Through the entire episode.
Really?
And the teams have to kind of, if they see, and quite often things happen in odd places.
Yes.
And all of the time you can see it going, what the hell was that all about? and quite often, not always, but quite often there'll be a clue. And at the very end, it's right. Team captains.
Oh, fantastic.
And teams. What was tonight's secret song? And they basically, and often they do get it.
Yeah.
But
right.
And sometimes too, the clues are presented in such a way that they're probably a lot more obvious to the television viewing audience than they are to the panellists on the night.
The oblique presentation.
Yeah.
The offset.
But what's nice is then they either have the artist that was in to do Lukma, which is where you have artists do songs in the style of whatever it is they play.
Yeah.
Or another artist then actually plays their version of the secret song at the end of the episode as well. So you get a different take on the song.
Oh,
that's kind of nice.
Yeah, it is nice.
Because they were always
very holistic,
versions.
isn't it? Yeah. Well, that sounds great. It sounds really holistic and integrates nicely. Yeah. Look, I'll have to have to listen in and get the full experience. I wonder who the Brains Trust is behind all this, because there's obviously a fair knowledge base to put these things together. Someone's got to sit there.
They have a bunch of researchers. The music co-ord and who does a lot of the musical research for it is Dan Warner.
Oh.
I'm not sure he's a muso around town.
Yes.
He's got an album coming out later this week.
Okay.
Plays regularly.
Right.
Dan's great.
Yes.
Worked with him on that show, known him for a long time.
He's
a fine muso.
Oh, okay, so he's the brains behind it.
Well, he's doing a lot of it, but they have a team of researchers that all the other staff and writers.
Okay.
So from the writing team, it's a collective effort.
Okay.
And they, and between them, there's a lot of musical knowledge. Like the producer, Anthony, is, he's a musician, plays, has a big background in music, huge Beatles fan.
Yes.
So most of the people on it have a love of music, and a background. And when you get a whole bunch of those people together, the nice thing is they all bring something a bit different.
Yeah, I can appreciate that. And that's what you need.
That's the story of that show is that, it's the product is greater than the sum of the parts.
Yeah. Well, that's it. That's clever, isn't it? I mean, it resonates on many different levels. So, that's good stuff. Did you take a guitar away with you up to the stove?
I did. And that was, so I played a bit in the lodge a few times. That was good. And then there was also one night where a good friend of mine up there, she's had her restaurant cafe on the market up there for a number of years.
Yep.
And she's finally sold it this year.
Oh, okay.
And so a week from the end, she did her last dinner service, her last night of operating. And so I booked in naturally, and so I sat on a table with a whole bunch of the locals that I know and some that I didn't.
Yes.
And that was a fairly big day. So it was the Saturday of the grand final. So at midday they have the local SES fundraiser at the hotel there.
Yes. Okay.
So I skied in the morning, went to the SES barbecue, and that's always a good fundraiser and good fun, and support the local SES. And then from there went on to there's a little place that opened up, which is a Japanese ramen kind of noodle place, and also had a fairly good collection of whiskey. So a couple of people I know went there and then had a couple of whiskeys. They were having dinner, but I was going on to this other place.
Yeah.
So then I went from there on to the other place and started to have wines, and then proceeded. It seemed like an endless stream of cocktails plus dinner.
You did well.
Yeah, well, yes, and so... Did
it bring the Steve Vai out of you?
It was a big night for her. Well, by the end of the night, I was playing guitar and we were all singing songs in the key of of drunk major.
Oh, brilliant.
So it was a very funny night. I
Fantastic.
think I walked out of there, kind of staggered out of there at about 3 a.m. Fortunately, the lodge where I stay is only a few doors up the road.
Well, that's all right. That makes sense.
But it was pretty funny, and I made a few new friends, and it was even at one point, I think I was just mucking around with a basic blues riff, and there were lots of lyrics being made up as we went.
Oh, tremendous.
It was very funny.
The way it should be. Authentic music making in situ. Well done. Oh, that sounds great.
So, and she's one of the people that I've sort of been helping with a bit of guitar over the last few years, because her father's a composer and does film soundtracks and stuff based in Adelaide.
Oh, right, okay.
Interesting guy.
Wow.
And
That's
so
a specialised
she's
field.
had a musical background.
Mm-hmm.
And in the last, I don't know, 5 or 6 years, decided wanted to get into guitar a bit, so kind of helped her out, and we used to sit around and play around a bit after closing time of nights and in summer and stuff. So it's kind of a bit of an end of an era now, that place is closed.
Yeah.
There was always a guitar hanging on the wall there.
Okay.
And you could always, go in and play a tune.
Do you know who's taken over the establishment?
No, new owners take it in December, so we'll,
everyone will be quick to suss them out.
And see.
Yes, that's it. Yeah. Do you tend to go up a bit in summer too, Frank?
Yeah, last summer not, because of the way it ended up with the COVID spike, and then I ended up getting all that freelance work.
Yes.
It kind of locked me out of going up there. But the plan is to, because I do a fair bit of night sky photography.
Yes.
Up there.
Okay.
And the skies up there are beautiful.
It would be amazing.
Away from light pollution, and you're shooting through a whole lot less atmosphere, and.
Oh, look, I can vouch for that. During the up at Mount Wills, I stood out there and I was just totally in awe.
You almost feel like you could reach up and touch them.
I know. Kate was saying that. She said, I want to grab those stars. They're just there. Yeah. And you feel like you're about 1,800 metres closer.
Yeah, we are. And so, it's a lot less atmosphere to look through.
Yeah.
And, they're very... very clear, and I think too, because even in summer, because of the colder atmosphere, you tend not to get as much hot air rising. So you get less of the scintillation, and so they look very crisp and clear.
They do. It was just incredible sight. Oh, yeah. No, I can understand your interest in doing that. That's great. Oh well, it's really good to catch up with you. So we'll look forward to some programs, just sort of pen them together. And what I'll do is I'll contact you by text during the week, and I'll know closer to next weekend what days I'm around.
Yep.
And if it suits you, if it fits in with your your plans, if not, doesn't matter at all. It's no obligations whatsoever. And we'll just try and see if we can get the planets to align at some point and proceed. It would be nice.
Yeah, cool. No problem.
Yeah.
In the meantime, I'll revisit. Have a quick check and look at, because I think I'm now, as I may have done on the last couple, I put down the duration of each track and then a running duration too, so you get more of an idea of how much physical program material it is, and so you get an idea of a bit of talk time in between.
Yeah, well, we want that. I mean, that's really what makes it all sort of come alive, and so we'll make sure that we get things in proportion. If it's more than the program, doesn't matter. That's fine. We can just sort of stretch things out if need be.
Well, Mr. Beck might be.
Yeah,
an interesting artist.
Yeah,
and his career spanned a long, long time through various acts. And
sure. No, it sounds good. Yeah.
He's because he started with the Yardbirds and that early British stuff.
Okay. Is he still going strong?
Yeah, he's still playing these days. And,
wow.
His last album was a little while ago, but he certainly, he's in his 70s and still an amazing player.
Oh, really? Still got all his dexterity and his ideas?
Yeah.
Has he evolved much sort of stylistically over his...
I think he's evolved. Yeah, he's very different. He's very intuitive player.
Sure.
And an interesting note too, because I read his biography a number of years ago.
Yeah.
And they talk about that he was involved in a car accident.
Okay.
When he was young. Mm-hmm. And the little bit of damage that did to him, his hearing, there are some sounds that jangle him and quite make put him on edge.
Yes.
But also because of it, quite often he doesn't play. He doesn't bother to tune up his guitar accurately. Like his guitar can be a bit off, and he actually bends and adapts the strings as he plays.
Okay.
So if the guitar's off tune, it's something that just doesn't perturb him. He just adjusts. As he
just adjusts. Isn't that amazing?
And you think, Wow.
Yeah,
So-
well, there you go. He's obviously a really adaptable musician. He probably enjoys the challenge of sort of working with
and
abnormal.
he's just the real feel. I mean, and I think I've included it on one of his late albums of the last 10 years. It's called Emotion and Commotion.
Yeah.
He does on that. I mean, he does a version of Nessun Dorma,
Oh, okay.
and
Wow.
I've heard him play it live, and you go, wow.
Yeah. Oh, I'd love to hear that. Put that one on the list.
Oh, it's on it.
Good.
It's one. It
Excellent.
kind of has to be, really.
Oh, yeah. Anything that's got a bit
Yeah,
of
and he's on
cross-pollination.
One of his albums is a fairly famous track of his called Beck's Bolero, and
Okay.
so,
Oh, tremendous. Oh,
yeah,
that's good.
so
Anything, yeah.
he's just an interesting artist.
Mm.
And he and Jimmy Page of Led Zeppelin are good friends.
Okay.
And,
right.
So, they used to play together and
Yeah, yeah.
Yardbirds and all
Yes.
sorts of stuff in early days, and hang out at each other's houses and fiddle around. So it's interesting to see the different directions and the... And he always lamented, because in his the Jeff Beck group,
Yep.
at one point, Rod Stewart was the singer.
Oh, okay.
So they're quite a big, big outfit, and
Yes.
but he always lamented the one thing that he thought they lacked, and why Led Zeppelin did so well, and he said it was the drummer. He said,
right.
He said, well, I was still always looking for a drummer that was like John Bonham.
Oh.
He was incredible. Just
Okay.
the power and the sound that he would generate.
Mm-hmm.
He was such a giant in the drumming world at the time, and
Yes.
and he always felt that was one of the reasons why their band never had quite the sound that took them, which is kind of interesting coming from a guitarist.
Yeah, it is interesting. Yes, to sort of get those sort of vibe perspectives. Yeah, well, look, I'll tell you what, I'm going to have to wind soon and help, but I think to finish the program today, maybe I could, as a bit of a teaser, perhaps, so people can, look forward to hearing.
Oh, yeah, if you look up Jeff Beck, Nessun Dorma, the album's Emotion, Commotion, it's probably of about 10 years ago now-ish, 8 to 10 years ago. I'm sure it'll be on the tube.
Yeah.
Oh, it is, I know, because I found it.
I'm sure it is. Okay, also look up Nessun Dorma. I'm just going to, I've done my glasses. Yeah.
J-E-F-F.
Yeah.
And B-E-C-K, Jeff Beck.
Jeff Beck. All right, we'll look him up. Jeff Beck and Nessun Dorma. It comes up at the top of the list. And here we go. All right, of course, there's a few versions of this. And I left my glasses inside, so I'll have to hold this back.
There might be some live ones, but there should be an album one there.
Yeah, I think the album one would be the one to play. So here we go. Jeff Beck, Nessun Dorma, it's on the list. And we'll wind with this today. And yeah, with thanks. It's great to catch up with you, Frank.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Good to be back.
Welcome back to the
back
fold.
on the wireless.
Yeah, back on the radio. So you probably haven't done much radio.
Not a little bit of mobile
Yeah.
up and down and around,
Yes.
but not a huge amount.
Yeah, sure. Different priorities, different chapter. Yeah, we'll have to keep the snow theme alive. I'd love to hear a bit more about the culture up on the snowfields and and some of your exploits. And we'll feature this now. And this is in anticipation of a Jeff Beck special coming up sometime soon. And Nessun Dorma. So yeah, a bit of cross-pollination with classical traditions. Thank you so much there, and we'll catch up with you soon.
Yeah, cheers.
Okay.
K3OP.
And vk3sl testing on 160 and on UHF, and also streaming online. And we'll look forward to your company later on tonight at 11:30. We'll strut our usual stuff for a late night session. Meanwhile, let's have a listen to the music of Jeff Beck.